Alright. Hello, my name is Esteban, and today I will be talking about the Mcculloch V Maryland court case. First off, let's start with what exactly were they questioning during this court case? The first one was Congress allowed to form the Second National Bank. And the second was Maryland's law unconstitutional towards congressional powers. First off, who is James Mcculloch? Well, he was the head cashier of the Baltimore branch of the Second Bank of the U.S. And what led to the court case? Here's a little timeline that I've created. In 1816, we see Congress created the Second National Bank. And in 1818, Maryland was trying to tax all banks that were not ran by the state, which meant that they were basically taxing all national banks. And in 1819, the case was discussed, and Marshall came up with a decision on the court case. Now let's talk about the arguments. So on the left side, we have Mcculloch, which is stating that he didn't feel like Maryland had the right to tax the national bank. And Maryland was trying to go against them and saying that the Constitution did not give federal government the right to form a national bank. It was actually given to the states. And Maryland was also arguing that they are allowed to tax any bank within its borders due to its sovereignty. Now, let's talk about why they chose to decide what. First off, the ruling was 7-0, and they all favored to Mcculloch, and here's why. So the first question, which was whether Congress was allowed to form the Second National Bank. Indeed, they were, due to the necessary and proper clause. The reasoning Congress acts under explicit and implied powers. Explicit powers to tax, borrow, and spend implies implicit power to create a U.S. bank, which is under necessary and proper, and gives Congress the right to do what is needed to carry out explicit powers. Now, let's talk about whether Maryland was allowed to tax the national bank. They were actually not allowed to tax the national bank. The reasoning is, since the power to tax is the power to destroy, and it is an inferior and cannot destroy a superior power. So this indeed made Maryland's tax to be unconstitutional. Now let's talk about the aftermath. So this was actually one of the first cases that brought up the federal government's power. And this one actually did give the federal government more power. And it also made more people think about implied powers, which are laws that aren't exactly like written in the Constitution, but they use that against the other side to prove their point, which is kind of wrong because, it's not really written in the Constitution. And it does make this a landmark case. It is an important case that has continued to be studied due to its significance in history. This is a great moment in history because it actually gave the federal government more power, which is wrong and shouldn't have been done in the first place. But yeah, that is the Mcculloch v. Maryland case. Thank you for listening and have a good day.